800 international wickets, the quintessential fast bowler. Waqar Younis is a true legend, and we're so happy that you've joined us for a conversation here. Waqar, how many toes did you break in your career, or crush rather?
Look, I don't know, to be honest. This is a
Ballpark figure.
Few. I mean, I played a lot of county cricket in England, so I mean, all these toe crushing or whatever you call it, the Yorkers, they probably I was more effective here in summer because once the sun comes out, here the pitches gets really dry, and the rivers come into play, and I was pretty good when it comes to rivers, and I was very young those days. I was bowling quickly. Probably, I mean, toe crushing is just a bad word to probably use, but I was getting my Yorkers right at the time, probably in the early 90s, mainly.
You were one of the greatest exponents of reverse swing. So the mechanics of reverse swing, like, were you born with that craft? Is that something that you honed in to get the ball to behave a particular way?
Look, I learned it very early in my career. Even before I sort of played international cricket, I even didn't know what textbook swing bowling is or whatever, the fast bowlers actual, how do they swing? I had no clue. It was just very natural to me. My action was very natural too. I was very God gifted, and of course, I guess my action really allowed me to reverse swing better. And then, of course, over the years with my time and more experience, I learned with the new ball also. But it is an art. It's a very difficult art, and I was lucky that I had this sort of in me when I first played for Pakistan. I did know this art before playing for Pakistan, and when I came into Pakistan, and then I saw Wasim Akram, Imran Khan there. I mean, there are other fast bowlers were there, and they were doing it, and it became literally easy for me. And of course, with Imran Khan being the mentor and the head of the pack and the captain, really used me properly. The first couple of years, he never gave me a ball until the ball was reversing. So I guess that really helped. The early wickets helped, and I did pick up a lot of early wickets in my first few years, and that really gave me a confidence to go further into my career.
When you were bowling that sort of delivery, like in your head, did you have that, okay, this is how the ball needs to behave? Was it about the late dip? Was it about the swing? I mean, what was ideally the mechanics of it that was perfect?
Look, there are different mechanics. I mean, I don't know exactly the scientific mechanics of it, but the ball, of course, goes to the opposite direction to what textbook says. Textbook says if the shiny side is on the right side, the ball should swing to the left. And with reverse swing, it goes the opposite. If the shiny side is on the right and the ball is really rough from the left side, it should go in. And that really is actually what reverse swing is. Most of the high arm fast bowlers, likes of Wasim Akram, likes of Srinaths and Glenn McGraths, and they're really high arm bowlers, and they used to sort of swing the ball. With my action, probably, what you call me a toe crusher, or my was more of a dip of the ball, because I used to sort of bowl the ball in an angle way, in a little bit of an angle seam, so the ball should not just go this way, it should go downward. So that's why I guess I was a bit more successful when it came to the sort of last overs of the game, and that's why I got more one-day wickets. People, when they want to charge me, and I was able to sort of bowl nice and straight into the stumps, LBWs bowled. Most of my wickets have come LBWs and bowled. That's purely because I believe that if you bowl nice and straight, you got more chance of picking up wickets.
Is that why you feel like, why in the peak of your powers, you had that sort of success in New Zealand, in England, in West Indies, on those sort of conditions? I mean, you must have just walked in and said, oh, okay, that's it, that's my target, this is what I'm going to do.
Look, as a fast bowler, you do get a feeling when you're out there in the middle, that okay, the ball is in condition where I can really control the game, like Bumrah at the moment. Probably if you give him a ball a certain time, and he will probably feel that he's in control of the game, and we used to have the same, me and Wasim Akram in tandem, and I was very sort of lucky that he was bowling from the other end, because there was always a sort of competition, a healthy competition going on between us, that who takes more wickets, and that really helped Pakistan to win a lot of games in the early 90s. And yeah, I enjoyed all conditions. You know, pitch was a little irrelevant for me for the first sort of few years of my career. Once I broke my back, it became, you know, a little bit hard because I had to learn, you know, to bowl with the new ball also. But yeah, early on in early career, you know, it was you know, enjoyable bit.
It wasn't enjoyable for the opposition. I mean, I remember the tour to England where it was brought into question, the art of reverse swing and why everything is going on. I mean, what was your own personal assessment of that situation and the things that were being said?
Look, controversies are always been around the game. If you talk about the cricket ball, I mean, you go back in the 60s and 70s, there was, you know, Brill cream or Vaseline or chewing gums or whatever, the mints and all those sort of things, and there always been, and they were always, I think they would always stay around the game. This, I think, reverse swing is an art, and we did it. We were the first one to did it, and now probably everyone sort of still doing it, and they're learning it, they're enjoying it, and I'm really happy and glad that, you know, this art is there, because cricket with the flat pitches and with the heavier bats, it is easy for the batsman. So if there is some help at some stage of the game with the reverse swing, and I think why not? I mean, you know, we were accused for that, and I don't really see anything in it, and nothing came out. But yeah, I still cherish my days with the reverse swing and of course with the new ball also later on in my career.
Do you remember your first reaction when actually all these accusations were flying around and the first time you heard about it? Do you remember what your first reaction to that was?
It was in the papers, you know.
Yeah.
It was in the papers, you know. And you go back a few years and it was a bottle top. So, you know, whenever we have come to England or to an extent any team have come, there's always been a controversy around several things. So, you know, I just brushed it away.
Well, you did mention bowling alongside in tandem with Wasim Akram. Just imagine if you're a batsman and you have to contend with Waqar Younis and Wasim Akram. Imagine the message that the two of you sent, and you represented that strength of Pakistan.
Look, overall, I feel that when you bowling, when you have 2 or 3 bowlers who come, you know, to bowl together, you know, teams won more games. You know, you take Australia, for example, in the 90s, it was Glenn McGrath and Shane Warne. You know, not a pacer, but as good as a pacer. I mean, he used to pick up wickets for fun. So them two and Australia ruled for a good 15 years. You take, you know, go back to the West Indians, they used to have 4 of them, 3 or 4
Absolutely.
of them. So I feel that, you know, we were very lucky that me and Wasim played together. We had a lot of fast bowlers came through that period, but they never had the spot to come in. They always had to come as a third bowler or a backup bowler. And we enjoyed our career for good 15 years. And you know, and I think, you know, as I said, teams having more than 1 bowlers working together, they always have more success than the team having, you know, the scattered bowlers.
So Waqar, you were about 18 when you made your test
Yeah.
debut, when you'd first come in. So Wasim had played a couple of years before you. Do you remember hearing about Wasim, and was there anticipation of joining him on a tour or being part of the same team?
Look, when I was sort of playing first-class cricket, Wasim's name was sort of developed by then, and you know, we always wanted to meet him, wanted to meet Imran Khan, and I was kind of very lucky at a very young age that I got picked, and I did perform in the first class in the first year or so. I picked up very first season. I picked up I think 30 odd wickets in 6 games. And I was
30 odd wickets in 6 games. Did you bowl out all the complete
No, that was
opposition?
4-day game, 4-day cricket. But it was like I got picked very quickly for the camp, and I was lucky that I came on the scene, and I was there among the greats of the game. Javed Miandad, Imran Khan, Wasim Akram was sort of developed by then. You know, they were all there, and luckily, you know, I got picked straight away without any hiccup for me to sort of go back and maybe prepare again. Or I was lucky, and I had a back injury in the very early stage of my career, but you know, never looked back after that.
there were all these reports that somewhere along the line something fell out between the two of you, and there were reports that there were phases where you had no personal equation and yet you bowled in tandem together. I mean, what went on actually, Waqar?
Look, you know, on the field, it does not really mattered for us what happened off the field.
Okay.
You know, we went on the field and we always wanted to do well for our country and for ourselves, for our families, and we always wanted to prove ourselves that, you know, against each other also, in a way that I'm better than you. So I think that really helped us, you know, the inner side of us, which always wanted to do well. So I think that really gave us a lot of strength for winning Pakistan, the games for Pakistan.
So that little bit of internal rivalry where you kind of inspire each other to bring out the best in each other. Do you remember a particular moment, match or incident where, you know, Wasim managed to bring out the best in you? Was there something he said? Was it a conversation?
Look, I think I can tell you a story.
Please do.
It was in back in the 90s when this revolt, revolt or whatever you call it. It happened against Wasim, and you know, we had to tour New Zealand after that, or should I say, I got best out of Wasim on that tour, because that whole thing happened. The episode happened. Wasim refused to go on the New Zealand tour, and we went on the tour. Salim Malik became a captain from nowhere. He was not part of the 15. He was called from home and made the captain. And then we went to New Zealand, and I think the first game was in Auckland, and I picked up, I think, 10 wickets in that game. We won that test match. There was a 3-match test match series, and I guess Wasim sort of felt that, look, I want to play. What am I doing here back home? So he sort of decided to come on the tour. He came on the tour, and the very next game we played it. I think it was Wellington we played, and he picked up 11. And he bowled with the wind, and never gave anybody a high five because he was gutted. He was not happy with the team. But the delivery, some of the deliveries he bowled was unplayable, and you know, we won the test match, so it was good for us.
Let's say of that India-Pakistan rivalry, because you must have lived in the peak of what was an India-Pakistan rivalry. So when do you first remember really feeling it? Was it watching the game, or is what the first time you played India?
Look, I played my first test match against India, but I never felt anything. I think the things were a lot more calmer, a lot more easier. We were playing more cricket against each other, both teams. So it was nice. It was not an issue, no problem at all. I never felt anything about it. It was just another game for me. But over the years, then it became harder because we hardly played against each other.
Yeah.
If you take my career, I played 80 odd test matches, and I played only 4 test matches
Including the debut.
against India, and that too in the span of 15 years. So that really, I miss out on that. I feel that's, you know, we should have played more cricket. And I still feel India should play more cricket, leave politics and all the other, you know, rubbish off the field, and play cricket. Let the world enjoy Pakistan-India rivalry.
Well, growing up, was there an India-Pakistan encounter, or even in your later days, an India-Pakistan encounter that you truly remember, a moment that you remember in those games that stood out for you?
Look, as I said, I played only 4 test matches against India, but the standout test match was in Chennai, where Sachin got that beautiful 100. He played his heart out, his back was gone. We managed to win right at the end. It went 5 days. You know, it was 5 tough days on the field. The pitch was very slow. It was hard to bowl on. Wasim bowled really well. Saklan bowled extremely well. But that 100 of Sachin, I think that really probably is one of his best 100 I've seen.
And of course, for the fans and the enthusiasts, you know, they'll go back and they see that when you made your debut, Sachin also made his debut, you dismissed him, you know, all these moments are brilliant in time. But there was also this story that when you made your debut, you were virtually fast-tracked and handpicked because of Imran Khan. So what's the real story there?
That is true. That's very true. I mean, I did play first-class cricket, but normally if you ask modern cricket that if someone has played 4, 5, or 6 games, first-class game, will you pick him?
Yeah.
And coming from Behadi, it's a very small town from southern Punjab, will you pick him? don't think so. I think they'll allow that youngsters to sort of groom and play more first-class cricket and get fitter and then come to the international level. As I said, I was lucky. There was no real selection system those days. If you go back in the 80s and 90s, started in the late 80s. So I was, as I said, Imran Khan was the holy soly of the whole selections and the pick, the team. Selectors were there. But I was very lucky that he saw me for the first time on television playing against I think one of the Indian side of a first-class game, a one-day game. And very next morning he came to the ground, and the first thing he spoke to me, always wanted to meet him. The first thing he spoke to me, he goes, "Get ready, you're traveling to Sharjah."
Wow.
Literally.
Just like that?
Yeah, just like that. That was the first thing. Put a hand on my shoulder, and I was like, I just melted. That was enough for me. But on top of that, if I'm going on the tour, that was something, I will never forget.
Walking into the Pakistan dressing room for the first time, wearing the colours or earning that cap, what was that feeling like? What's your memory of that day?
It was amazing. To be honest, I never knew the importance of test matches then. Nowadays, if you ask me to go back and what do you think of the test cap? And I will say, oh my God, test cap, test playing for your country. But those days, test was like, okay, playing another 4-day game. It was not really.
There's no pressure?
My first, pressure was there.
Yeah.
Of course, pressure was there to play for country, and playing against India, it was a big pressure. But I played one-day cricket before I played test match, and I played quite a few one-day cricket. Played in the Australasia Cup, I think was the first one when I played in Sharjah, and then traveled from there to India. And I don't know if you remember Nehru Cup, we played in 1989, which we managed to win that one. It was a mini World Cup kind of a tournament, and that pressure was sort of gone, by the time I got back to Karachi and played the first test match. But I never sort of felt that, okay, test match is important. My first cap for one-day cricket was more important at the time, because wearing that green cap was something very, very special.
Well, when you talk about one-day cricket and you talk about injuries, for example, 1992, the World Cup, not being there, I'm sure it's something that was very difficult to sustain at that time.
Yes, it was. It was more hurting when Pakistan won, of course, because I wanted to be part of it. I went on the tour. I was on the tour, and unfortunately, my back got hurt or broken just before the World Cup. For 10 days before, we went about 3 weeks before the World Cup start. And then once my back broke, and even Imran Khan told me to stay back. We'll see how it goes. Maybe once you get into the semis, if you get into the semis. But it was too much. It was just the pain was unbearable, and I had to sort of leave. I missed that, of course, because I wanted to be part of it and part of the winning team. I was over the moon. I'm very, very happy and glad to Pakistan.
Could you watch the games? Could you bring yourself to do it?
I did watch every single game, and as they were playing better and better.
Yeah, what was the start like? With that start, what were you thinking at that stage?
Very similar to any other World Cup we have played. Not the best at the start, but it was, Pakistan's unpredictability, we all know that it's always there from the 90s, go back in the 80s also. They can beat any team in the world, and they can get beaten by any team in the world also.
Your stories, there's so many that want to be a Waqar Younis, but if I take you back, who did you want to be? I mean, why did you fall in love with this game?
I don't know. I was always a sportsman, always played all the sports. I played hockey, I played football, I played badminton, I played table tennis. I was good at most of the sports in my school time and growing up. I used to love sport. I could have picked any sport. I could have picked hockey also, but I don't know. I was lucky, should I say, or should I say I was more in love with cricket than any other sport. That I stuck by cricket and then worked hard on it. And if I would have played any other sports, I would have worked as hard as I did with playing cricket. But I'm lucky that I played cricket and I enjoyed cricket and cricket is probably, I feel, is the best sport. Anyway.
All these years that you look back and you think that, okay, this was it, this was the best moment that I'll take away with me, that I remember. Is there one?
I mean, I'll take the entire career of mine away because I cherish every bit of it. The moment I'll take is probably when 1992 World Cup team came back from after winning from Australia. They landed in Lahore, and when they landed at the airport at Lahore, when they were coming out of the plane, and I was just standing at the bottom to receive them. There was a big flashlight on them, and the first thing first, I think you see my family now. They came out with that glass trophy, and literally my legs sort of just collapsed. I literally collapsed. I started crying, and I think that moment is probably the best moment of my 20-30 years, which ever happened.
It's amazing to think that you were a teenager when all of this started. If you could go back now, knowing everything that you know, having, your own families and things like that, is there something that you can tell the teenage Waqar to prepare?
I mean, I will still push myself. I mean, I might get injured again. That's part of the business I'm in. Fast bowling is a tough gig. It's not easy. And I'll still bowl fast. I will not become a medium pacer. I will not take any of that. I'll still run in hard and try to bowl people out, rather than now modern cricketers. I feel that they start off bowling quick, and they learn quickly, and they start becoming a medium pacer, or they start sort of slowing down and start bowling line and length. I will not do that because I feel that for me, what I achieved, it was all purely my hard work and the effort I put in, and I will not give that away.
And is that how you want to be remembered? Is that how you want your legacy to go?
Definitely.
All hard work?
All hard work. I always suggest any youngster growing up, there is no match to hard work. I mean, there is a talent which will take you to a certain level, and then it's hard work which will make you great or the greatest.
Or make you a legend. Thank you so much for joining us, Waqar, for sharing those insights. I'm sure this will inspire many to go ahead, and like you said, it's the best game out there.
Thank you very much.